Welcome everyone here to the Smash Sports Show right here on Smash FM here on Lockdown Wednesday here in Melbourne. Of course, let's go up to our friends over in Queensland who are in a better situation than what we are down here in Melbourne. Of course, let's go to the Gold Coast in particular. And of course, the resumption has already begun in the football side of things up there, especially in the QAFLW competition. And for Bond Uni, what a fantastic start to the season they've had so far. Of course, they're currently sitting second place on the ladder behind Maroochydore. Of course, in the competition, of course, they had a crushing win over Asbury on the weekend. And of course, we got a very special guest from Bond Uni to tell us all about it. Her name is Shannon. She joins us now. Thanks, Shannon, for joining us.
No worries. Thank you for having me.
No worries. Well, fantastic start to the season, and especially after resumption. Tell us a bit about the last 2 or 3 weeks for the team.
Yeah, it's been really, really exciting. Everyone's been really in a really good mood, in a really good vibe. Everyone's just really happy to get out and play football. For us, it was not really too much about winning, but as soon as we stood onto the field, the competitiveness came back, I think. But just really, really happy to be able to be so lucky to play footy and play with our mates. So, yeah, super, super good vibe down at Bond.
Now, you rised up to second position on the ladder after last week's win. I guess are you pretty happy where you're at the moment, sitting pretty much pretty much a game behind Maroochydore for top spot?
Yeah. Very happy sitting second. We know that they're going to be a competitive side and we've got to play Coorparoo this weekend. So hopefully we can keep our spot up there. We were on the top last year and didn't get the biscuit. So we're pretty happy to sit anywhere up there. As long as we get into finals and can get to the big dance, I think we'll be happy. So, yeah.
Now, since the resumption, funny enough, yourselves and Coorparoo have played the same team in consecutive weeks. Obviously, you've played, of course, Coolangatta in the first game on the resumption. Obviously, Coorparoo played them last week. I guess, how intense is this game going to be, knowing that both of you have been Coolangatta by a reasonably good margin, and now going against each other for a chance to get that double chance, because it's literally both of you are sitting 2 and 3 on the ladder?
Yeah, it's a very big game for us, not just because we've played the same teams. Obviously, we got beaten by them last time in the grand final. So we're out for a bit of revenge, and I think they're out there to hold their spot. We've also got a few players from Coorparoo now with us, so it'll be a very big game and a big physical game. I think we played Coolangatta and we really wanted to get on top of them because they got on top of us at the start of the season. And then with Ashley, it was a bit of a development game for us. We were able to switch and change a few players. So the results were interesting that they were close, but I think we can't really go off that heading into the weekend, because who knows what it's going to turn out to be like.
Now, you mentioned about, of course, that Coorparoo team who obviously beat you in the grand final. I guess, how much of this game going to be a revenge game for you to get one back and put them 2 games behind?
The whole game will be a revenge game for us. Very, very keen to get out there and redeem ourselves, I think. Obviously, we don't want to be known to be the team who got smashed in the grand final, so it'll be really good for us. We're going to be the underdogs, which puts us in a better position, I think, mentally and physically going into the game. So they've got everything to lose and we don't have anything to lose. So we'll just put our best foot forward and hopefully get the win.
Now, for your team, I guess what I can tell by the results, and especially how this year's been for your team, is that you seem to already, completely forgotten about what happened last year and the disappointment in the finale, and I guess gone on as if it's a clean slate. Is that how you approached it?
Yeah, definitely. I think we had to. We went into this year thinking, don't worry about last year. We gained a lot from the game last year, both as a playing group, individuals and coaching the whole club. So we then just took that on board and just went into this season going, what can we do better and how can we be better? Completely clean slate. We didn't sort of dwell on it at all. And then going into the start of the season, we only got to play 2 games rather than the 3. So we went into our new season at the start, again, clean slate. We just didn't want to think about what had happened a few months ago. We just thought we're better off going in with no games on the board so that we can just make our own new mark into the season.
Now, you mentioned about the stop-start season. Ours has been in a very unusual year, which everyone knows. How has the team coped with, I guess, especially with the stop-start? Obviously, you played 2 games, then you had to stop because of COVID. Now you're back again. How has that been like throughout this year? And especially, I know I spoke to Coolangatta about this question, which I'm going to ask you as well. I'm assuming there's a couple of the players that are going from the other side of the border to the Queensland border. How has the team coped with that?
I think we've actually done really, really well as a club. Probably better than what I would have imagined. From the start, as soon as lockdown hit, we gave everyone a few weeks to, I guess, deal with everything, because obviously it's a very, very crazy time. But we made sure that we were always in contact. We have a leadership group and coaches and everyone above us. So we were always in contact with every single person at the club, making sure that they were in a good position for themselves and their family, and then so that they knew they had support from the club. It was never a demand to have footy as a first priority, but more as an outlet for them to turn to if they ever needed anyone. So I think that we as a club and as a group dealt with it really, really well. I'd like to think most people felt supported, and we had fabulous S&C coach, so we always had training things to keep us busy as well. So I think that, and we didn't have too many people crossing the border, but if we did, we were lucky enough to get those passes so that they were able to come through and still train with us when we could. When we did get back to training, we just had little groups, basically led by coaches or leaders, and that was really good too, just good to see everyone again. So I think that we really stuck together throughout a really crazy time, and so that made coming back as one big group even better. Just felt like a really big family.
Now, I asked Coolangatta this question about a couple of weeks ago, which I'm going to ask yourself, and I also interviewed Georgia earlier in the year about the same question. Now, because there's 2 teams down the Gold Coast, obviously yourselves and Coolangatta, have you started to become a bit of a rivalry down there between yourselves and Cooley?
Yeah, I would definitely say so. It's definitely the coastal clash. I think it's what it's called. Whether it's your first year at Bond or your 5th, it's just a bit more of a excitement when you're going to play against Coolangatta. Sort of who gets the throne of the coast, I think. Unfortunately, at the start of the year, they got over us. I wasn't there for that game, but then we came out with a bit more revenge the other week, and we got it back. So definitely a coastal clash going on between us two. But it's good. It's good to have a rivalry, so it keeps us competitive.
So 1-1 so far this year.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we'll see what happens in the third and maybe final clash of the year to see who decides who gets the Gold Coast on their own right. Now, tell us a bit about the team itself, and especially the couple of the young players we should watch out for in the future.
We've got a big group of very different, very, very funny people. We have obviously a really nice range of the AFLW girls coming in, which bring a lot of, I think, intensity and knowledge to the game. They're really valuable. But we also have girls who have been, I guess, unlike probably a lot of people my age, playing for years, who also have a lot of knowledge, and lucky they've been able to come up through a bit of academy. So we have a vast range of people, but I think we all come and meet in the middle. We have really good people who you can go to for sort of coaching advice, people you can go to when you go, I just need to be revved up, and then people you can go to sort of for anything else. So people to look out for, though, that's a hard one. I think all of them. It's hard. Obviously, I think Caitlin Thorne has come up into the senior side really nicely. She's sort of been put in the wing, the forward and the back, and she's done really well. Often a bit too hard on herself, I think. You need to give her a bit of a confidence booster, because she often does well, but it's never good enough in her standards. Jazz Davidson just came up, played her first senior game with us and kicked 5 goals against Aspley. So obviously something that you need to keep an eye out there. She was fabulous. Read the ball in the forward line and was able to just pick off goals everywhere. Moved through the ruck and did beautifully. So she's someone to keep your eye on. And then we have a few other ones like Lily Tarlington coming up, coming through the development squad, really showing her colours there, which is really good. A few coming back from injury. So very, very exciting to see how they're going to go throughout the rest of the season.
Now for you, Shannon, how did you get involved in footy and why did you choose it?
So I'm from Victoria, so grew up around footy, country football. I initially started Auskick probably when I was about 10, I think. But being from the country, there was no sort of football pathway for me to go through. So I jumped into netball. And then it wasn't until 2017, so 3 years ago, that I gave footy a crack. Had a bit enough of netball. I just thought I'd give footy a go down in Melbourne. And I just played for fun, just with the club, just sort of got the feel of it. Really, really enjoyed that. And then I moved up to Queensland to study. And I knew a person at Bond and said, what's the club like? Should I have a kick? And they said, yep, definitely come down, have a crack. So I, came to Bond in 2019. So I started footy in 2018. And then came to Bond in 2019 and then, still here. So I've only really been playing for 3 years. But been around footy, watching footy, kicking the footy, watching my brothers play footy my whole life. So it was probably about time that I finally picked up the ball and had a go.
Now, obviously what's been happening down here in Melbourne, and you mentioned you're from down here, I guess you must well give your local team a bit of a shout out down here, or your former local team, I should say, a shout out, and tell us how helpful have they been to your journey so far?
So I played for Emmaus St. Leo's Football Club. So they're based in like the southeastern suburbs, in the VAFA. They were good. They were fabulous. It was a real sort of family vibe in that club. It was the first year of the women's, which is particularly why I joined. And the unity they had between the men and the women were fabulous. Didn't feel like it was a boys and a female side. It was just one big club, which was awesome. Heaps of really fun events where everyone was involved. Some really, really good teammates there. Some really knowledgeable ones who have given me some tips and tricks that I'll probably won't forget. And also I played with my best friend there. So that was really, really fun too, to be able to play a sport that we both love and play together. So that club definitely gave me good roots to then go off and come here, I guess.
Now, I have to ask, do you miss them? And I guess, do you still keep in contact with them and see how they're travelling down here?
The footy club, bits and pieces. I'm probably more people from the club. As I said, my best mate, I keep an eye on their social media to see what they're doing. Very good friends who were the team managers and keep in touch with them. Obviously sad to see that they couldn't get the season up and going. But I've been seeing that they're doing a fair few social things and they like to do fundraisers. So they're always really, really involved with their members and the people around, particularly being at a university too, near Deakin Uni. So they're always being really engaging and active. So I just sort of keep an eye on their social media and pop my head in every now and then to see how they're going. But yeah.
Now, for you, do you have any future ambitions in the sport of footy?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess the dream is always to be playing at the highest and best level that you possibly can. So I guess the next step from here would be the AFLW. I would love to have a chance to have a go there. Obviously, if the opportunity came by, I'd take it with both hands and run with it. So I guess we'll just see how the next few seasons go, and I'll just sort of keep putting in the hard yards and see how they go. A lot more development to do from my side though. So not in a rush, but we'll definitely take the opportunity if it came by.
And what does the sport of football mean to you now, and especially being there at Bond Uni?
Footy is a lot to me. As I said, growing up and watching it, it was a very a family thing, particularly with country football. We'd just go and you'd hang out with your mates and you'd watch your brothers and things like that. So football to me alone is about passion and family and friends and being social and getting involved. But for me personally, I guess playing it's a really big challenge for me. I love being challenged, but I also love how fun it is and how big the team is and how you can just have the worst or the best game ever, but you've still got 15, 16 people getting you around and getting you through the game. So for me, it means being able to, I guess, have a go, fail and keep going, or do really, really well and be surrounded by so many people who are happy for you and happy for the team. That's probably one thing I've noticed the most is just that family environment around footy. Particularly being at Bond, I think we're just unbelievably lucky with the level of footy that we can play and the coaching staff and the luxuries, I guess, we get from being at Bond. Treated very, very well and respected club. So we just like to maintain that culture and make sure everyone feels like Bond is a home for them and that everyone coming in or out goes, wow, Bond is a really fabulous place, which it is. So yeah, Bond is a lot plays a big role in how I feel about footy and where I want to go with footy. So yeah.
Now, I spoke to your teammate, Georgia Bremer, probably 2 months ago. Tell us a bit about playing alongside her.
It's a laugh, I think. She's a small girl with a very, very big heart and a very big personality and character. She's probably one of the hardest girls at the footy. She's always in and under. I just stand and let her do her thing. So always hard at the footy. She's always first to have a crack, first get everyone up and about and get everyone involved. She really makes the club feel like we're really united. She always before the game is singing and getting everyone involved and being Georgia, I guess. I don't know how else to explain it. That's pretty much her. She's probably more concerned about the playlist than the game, which is fabulous because it's really nice to have someone take the hype away from the game sometimes because that can get stuck in people's heads. But for her, she's just all about the love of the game and the love of being around everyone. And she's definitely someone that you can go to and go, look, I need a hand. I'm not having the best game. And she's the first to get you back up on your feet and pull you through. So she's a fabulous teammate. Unfortunately, she had a burst eardrum, so she's been out for a few weeks, but exciting to have her back, I think.
And what will be your advice to our Queensland listeners that should get down to watch the Mighty Sharks in action, especially this weekend against Coorparoo?
Yes, please come down and have a watch. We're actually at Coorparoo, so we'll be playing away. But yeah, definitely come down, give us some support. Even ask anyone in a Bond shirt if you want to come down and train or play or get involved. I'm always happy to have more people at training, more people to help or just be around. We just love getting everyone involved and having obviously more people there to get around the Bull Sharks and sing the song with us. So come down, talk to anyone. We're all very welcoming and happy to have a chat about anything. So if you have any questions, come to us.
Now let's finish up with a couple of light-hearted questions about your teammates. Now, in isolation, did you get set any challenges? And if so, what was the funniest one?
We had a few physical challenges, but we had a few light-hearted ones where we would do a bit of a bake-off. One of our coaches, actually, Beth McLaughlin, she's new to the coaching staff. She did a really funny like hot cross bun bake-off over Easter, just basically taking the miffy out of everything, which was really, really funny, which brought a really nice lightheartedness in the perfect of times. Obviously, everyone wanted to be around their family and we couldn't, so that was nice. Paris Lightfoot is always on some sort of social media, so there was a lot of funny TikToks going around that everyone got on board with, some silly photos, just streams of posts, nothing that I can particularly remember, but just basically just trying to get something on the pages to make sure everyone could have a laugh. And then anytime we would do some sort of catch up, we got our coach involved and everyone was doing a TikTok and practicing that rather than practicing our skills. So that was where our priorities were over COVID, TikTok.
Yes, I had a feeling Paris was going to be in one of your answers based on George's answer. Now, who's the comedian in the team?
That's hard to say. Well, actually, hard to say, but when we've got our Ellie Hampson's just come into the team from Coorparoo, and I'd probably say she's the biggest clown. First one to pull the joke, but also first one to be a part of the joke. So she's great. Really quick, witty comments, which I like. They're on par with me, but also just first person to go for a laugh. She can be very mature for her age, but she can also be that 19-year-old that she is. So very, very good to have her around. Very loud, always up for a laugh. So she's definitely someone you go to if you're not having the best day.
Yes, I agree with that. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. I've been around her when I was up in Queensland myself. Who's the best singer and dancer in the team? Now, you mentioned about TikTok just a moment ago, so tell us who's got the best dancing and singing skills.
Oh, I'd say that's hard because I don't want to. I'd say it's Georgia, Bremer, or Paris. I don't want to pick because they might they might hear this and then let me know about it. But I'd say Paris with the moves. Generally on game day, she's got the speaker and she's got the moves. But Georgia Bremer is probably first to grab the microphone if need be. So weighing that up is pretty hard. Maybe a duo from the both of them.
Yes, I agree with that one.
Yeah.
Now, any embarrassing moments by anyone so far this year?
Well, the other week when we played Coolangatta, I went to switch the footy and actually kicked a point for Coolangatta. So that was pretty embarrassing. Other than that, none that I can really think of embarrassing wise, other than kicking a point for the other team.
Did they say anything to you?
No, well, we were winning them, so I just sort of played it off like I was giving them a hand. I was happy to help them out.
Fair enough. Now, you mentioned obviously, I know the result last year's grand final wasn't the result you wanted, but how was Mad Monday after that?
It was good. No one was sad anymore. It was very, very fun. We all went back to one of the girls' houses. I think we wore like a terrible op shop sort of get up. We had some silly games. We had a few of those drinking games where, you'd have to put a peg on someone and things like that. So very, very good day, I think, to reunite us after obviously not the best day beforehand. Just good laughs, good to get everyone together. And we were actually celebrating the development team had a win. So right. I guess we were commiserating, but we were more there to celebrate them, and they had a fabulous win. And I guess it just highlighted for us that it's not always about the senior squad, and that they're actually a very, very successful team with a lot of fabulous players. So we're probably happy because we were celebrating their win and how good their season was, and got over ourselves a little bit, I'd say.
Now, of course, so we'll finish up with two final ones, which is, now you mentioned obviously who runs the playlist. Of course, that's Georgia. But tell us, what's the worst song on that playlist? You can be absolutely truthful to this.
Personally, I can't stand any of the techno songs. So they're all doing their techno, and I'm just sort of, I feel old. But no, anything that has a really bad beat or it has no words, I can't deal with it. I like to hear some music that I can sing to, or a good 80s tune, or Fisher, You Beauty is the one song that I'll let them have that's techno. That gets me pumped up, but anything else, can't stand it.
Have you let them know?
Yeah, but the majority wins. I think I'm the only one who thinks that. So I let them do their thing. They all get in a circle and they dance, and I get a little bit involved, but I'm probably a bit out of time.
Now, of course, we'll finish up with this one last one, which is, do you have a pre-game superstition or ritual?
I actually don't. I don't want one because I don't like the idea of not being able to play out my ritual, or having, if you have a pair of socks in there in the wash, I don't want anything to get in my way on game day. So I don't have a particular undies or socks or anything that I wear. The only thing I'm cautious about is the food that I eat. So I have to eat, if we're playing at 3:45, I have to have my lunch at 1 o'clock, and then I'll have a banana sort of when we're getting dressed and things like that. Other than that, no sort of pre-game rituals or anything like that. I just like to keep it mine nice and clear. I don't have to worry about if I've washed my socks or anything like that. So just make sure I have my lunch at 1 o'clock and a banana, and I'll be fine.
Well, Shannon, thank you so much for giving up your time to join us. It's awesome having the show. I wish I was up in Queensland to support the Sharks in 2020. Hopefully, once this is all over down here in Melbourne and your season's still going, hopefully we'll be able to get up and meet yourself and the whole team up there. Obviously, you're doing pretty well. Second on the ladder behind Maroochydore, and let's hope you can knock off Coorparoo and create that gap between yourselves and the rest of the pack. And stay in touch with Maroochydore, who are obviously on top of the ladder, game in front. So best of luck. Please send our best wishes, and let's hope you can knock off Coorparoo on their home ground there at Giffin Park.
Thank you very much. Thanks for your time, and I hope to see you up here at the end of the year. Go the Bull Sharks.
No worries. And that's Shannon there from the Bond Uni, of course, Bull Sharks women's football team. Make sure you get up there. If you're in Queensland, of course, and you're in the area, of course, make sure you get up to Giffin Park in Coorparoo, of course, this weekend and see the top three teams playing action. Of course, Bond in second and obviously Coorparoo in third on the ladder. There's more on the Smash Sport Show right after this here on Lockdown Wednesday.